We're here under the floodlights. We're here at the Bahrain International Circuit, and we're here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Welcome along the Season 10 of Trinity Competitive Racing. I'm joined today by Blinn Machine in the co-commentator booth. And Blinn, it's my first Trinity Competitive Racing race, and I'm glad to be here with you to commentate for this, what is bound to be an exciting Bahrain Grand Prix in the Golden class.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, welcome to TCR ISRLX. We're very, very happy to have you on the roster here tonight, in the booth, in the commentary. And as you said, yeah, we're definitely bound tonight for a great race in this golden class. It's round 1 of TCR 10. It's an anniversary season. I know everybody is going to be fighting to have that 10, that nice round number right beside their name on the championship. And yeah, if it's anything like last night's silver race was, we're in for a good one.
We're here at the Bahrain International Circuit, a 5.4-kilometer circuit with 15 turns and I believe 3 DRS detection zones, if I'm not mistaken, and a lap record of a 126.3 by Seafreeze himself. The race distance today will be 29 laps. And we're here in short qualifying, which is 18 minutes of nonstop action. Drivers allowed to set as many lap times as they want to try to get on pole position today. And we already have 2 drivers out. That's ICO and M9H Racing, who are out in the Williams and the McLaren, respectively, wanting to get some early lap times on the board.
Yeah, and some other people are now coming out as well. Both of the Mercedes, Bam Bam and Seagrease 74, both of them coming out. Both of them returning drivers into this golden class. Seagrease last season was in P5 in Season 9, and Bam Bam P7. So they're very close together in last year's overall results, and they're going to be teammates for this season. That should be exciting.
Also coming out, is already out on track, and Sector 2 is TCR, and he is, you explained to me how to say his name, and then my brain decided to fart.
TCR Jones.
TCR Jones, my brain decided to have a fart right there. TCR Jones is on the 3rd and final DRS straight at the moment in Sector 3. Of course, the winner of the Golden Class Championship, and will be looking to defend the title well in the McLaren this year, as we're getting set for action for the first laps to start. And I believe it's M9H who is going to get the first lap on the board.
Yeah, and just a small correction there. So TCR Jones is the Season 7 Gold Class champion.
My bad.
Season 9 was actually won by Failed UX, who has moved on to the Platinum Class, which will be tomorrow, fighting his way through there. So that should be interesting as well.
I should have probably read that a little bit more. I'm not reading was not one of my strong suits in school, but nonetheless, we are here, and it's about 15 minutes left to go in the session, as M9H is already going down into Sector 2. And Blinn Machine, talk us, in your opinion, Bahrain International Circuit, what do the drivers need to do today to secure great pace and ultimately secure possibly a victory today?
Well, just, using the experience that I got from last night's race, obviously different assists that we're using in silver class to these that we're using here in gold. The only assist that they really have is the racing line, whereas we're left with a little bit more freedom. But the key to yesterday was strategy, your tire strategy and tire management. So it looks like right now, everybody in the top 10 is already trying to fit those soft tires and going out there. And that means they're going to either have to commit to a 2-stop, or they're going to have to do a very, very long stint on those hard tires. Also, temperatures are quite high in Bahrain overall, and I think on this new F1 2020 game, it really delivers that pressure and that load that you're putting onto the tires much, much more realistically. So it's very easy to get overheated tires here, just a couple of laps, and then it's kind of hard to bring them down again and manage the rest of your stint.
Well, I don't know when that lap record was exactly sent last season or not, but the TCR lap record would have already been broken now with a 126.2 at the moment from Bam Bam. I don't know if that's a race lap record or just overall, but that was quickly smashed in qualifying, and we're already in the early parts of the session, and that goes to show the increased pace of this year's cars on this game, the increased amount of especially high-speed downforce, giving a lot more confidence in the car as times are just flying on the board. But right now it's a Mercedes 1-2.
Yeah, it's almost like watching real F1, but there we go. There's D'Angelo with a 125.7. He's half a second clear of Bam Bam right now. And yeah, just like yesterday, it looks like the gaps between everybody else down to about 10th or so are quite close.
The slowest time at the moment, JFD with a 137. Definitely not a very indicative time, I would imagine, of the pace of the driver. As most of the times going into the 127s, a few 126s, and then there's one 125. And it's D'Angelo who has that time in what many could dub this season as the pink Mercedes, as he will try to get on pole position today. Still early on in the session, the track still has time to evolve. And we'll see if the lap times start to dip more and more as the session continues.
Flying Jippo is out there right now, and he is the highest running person in Season 10 that is still in Golden Class. He finished 4th overall last season, and right now he's coming around the last corner there. Let's see what sort of a time he's going to set here. I'm sure that, you know, he's thinking that he's probably in a pretty good position with all of the top 3 being gone. But right now he only sets a 127.2, so not quite enough, but he's on a medium tire, so that might actually turn quite well for him. Yesterday, Rex, he managed to win the race doing a one stop onto the hard tire, doing about 26 laps, I think, in total, or somewhere around there, or 24 laps on those hard tires. So I don't know how this is going to work out for the gold drivers here today. I don't know what sort of strategies they're going to opt for.
Currently at the bottom of the pack, just set his time. It's Uaven, I'm going to call him now, if a 132.8 in the Alfa Romeo. That's followed by the Ferrari. Clear 2 seconds, so clearly a little time defined on track in that Alfa Romeo, as we are just about to reach 11 minutes left in the session. But actually, Uaven has gone purple in the first sector, so I believe he's going for another one. So already changing of fortunes from that 132.
Yeah, currently I think D'Angelo is still really setting the bar here, 125.7. That is a very quick qualifying lap around here, so let's see who else can beat it. Right now, I only see a couple of drivers out there, M9, McLaren, and Frosthacker. I'm just following on board with McLaren. He actually set a purple first sector, so or second sector. No, that was the first sector. Yeah, sorry. So he's doing quite well. Oh, there we go. There goes Asio with a 126.3. Pretty good time. Jumps himself into 4th place.
And that splits the McLarens. Chargers 1,000. Between Jones and Asio. So the two McLarens currently, though, pretty high up the order. The Mercedes overall is a team with the best positions. As here is McLaren still heading down the straight before the final turn. Let's see how he does on this lap. Was looking good in the beginning. I don't know if he's got a purple second sector, but as he's going to come across the line, DRS activated, and the time, it's only going to be 14th fastest, so some time was lost in some sectors, and only 14th fastest at the moment with a 127.6.
And lots of drivers now heading out of the pits. Fuzz, Intent, Jones, Chargers, Asio, Zegreast, Bam Bam, D'Angelo, all of the top guys, all the way down to 6th place. And one person I'm really interested to see his pace, Fuzzelm 1 at the bottom of the list right now in 18th. I know that's not his real pace because in preseason testing, he was massively quick. So I'm expecting him to jump up a few positions before we actually get into this race here tonight.
Frosthacker has finished the first sector and is fastest in the first sector. So Frosthacker in the Renault, currently on the Charger now, but he's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, and hopefully he can dispatch of that traffic or in fact just not come into contact with any of it, as he's into the third DRS detection zone. He's got a McLaren ahead of him. There's a car stopped on track who he just passed, as Frost Hacker currently going through, and it looks to be the second sector. Was not a purple second sector, and that's a yellow flag out on there. I don't know who that is stopped, and that was McLaren, who was stopped on track. Not too sure about that one, but as he heads down towards the final turn, let's see what the time is going to be. A good amount of slipstream from the McLaren, held up maybe a little bit by Jones, that is happens to be, as he's going to come across the line and he's not even going to set the time. So was the traffic a problem, or was he just deciding not to set the time on those tires?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. It looked like a pretty good lap overall, a little bit messy maybe at times, but you never really know what these drivers are thinking. If they end up on the podium, we can possibly ask them.
So, nonetheless, he's the only driver without a time on the board, as D'Angelo has gone fastest in the second sector, as I was just about to say. Fastest on track at the moment. Might be going even quicker as we're into the final stages of qualifying now, coming around that final turn. The DRS flap is going to open, a little bit of a wiggle from the back end, as he's just going to go into the pits. So he was fastest in the second sector, but has decided not to set another lap time. And was that final turn little squabble from the back the cause of it? We'll have to wait and see, as Asio is currently second fastest in that McLaren with a 126.0. So Asio currently far faster than his teammate at the moment by about 0.4 of a second. And in this league, it seems that in the golden class, 0.4 of a second can be a pretty massive margin.
Absolutely. These guys are super close. Last year, I got the chance to commentate on them for pretty much the whole season, and I got to see some absolutely amazing moves and absolutely amazing battles between people. I think one main strength that this whole class has is these are all strategy masters. These guys can work out strategies that work out to their advantage at any situation. Last year I was just massively surprised, and I was learning a lot from how they would run their races. I'm expecting more of that here today as well, and hopefully if everybody gets cleanly through turn one, then there's definitely going to be a lot of battling throughout the race. In terms of pace right now, as you said, most of the people are very close, but there goes Intent, 125.362. He beats Flying Jippo's time by quite a bit, and then D'Angelo is now down to third place.
D'Angelo right ahead of his teammate Chargers, and the Mercedes have actually dropped off quite significantly. Were in the top three, now are down to 5th and 7th respectively, as the McLaren 6th and 8th respectively. So the two teams that were at the top for a little while, now a little bit further down than they'd like to be, as the Red Bulls may be the most disparaged of all the teams, with a Red Bull in second place and a Red Bull in 13th place. That's Aerofist with a 127.5. So the two drivers a little bit further apart than you think they'd like to be as they head into a new campaign. Of course, the Drivers' Championship, probably the main focus for many of the drivers, but there's definitely going to be a little bit of a team camaraderie as you try to get the best possible result for your team.
Yeah, last night I was very lucky to have a great teammate, D-Swish, get second place after starting in 13th. So that was an incredible drive from him, and we actually ended up getting the lead at this point in time for the Constructors' Championship, and that speaks to exactly what you just said there. Even though this is an individual racing sort of platform, we're all at home racing on our own rigs. I think especially in this league in TCR, everybody really feels like this is a big family, and everybody really respects this sport, and they're here to race. It's not a game to most of them. So yeah, I think these guys are going to take it very, very seriously here tonight.
And the order right now in that top 5, it's Intent, Flying Jippo, D'Angelo, Chargers, and Bam Bam is the leading Mercedes car. That's followed by Asio and Segrist, and TCR Jones currently in 8th. And Goldorado is ninth in the Haas. Red Wing Racing in the AlphaTauri rounding off your top 10 at the moment. With just about 4 minutes left to go in the session, most drivers currently in the pit lane. We do have D'Angelo out on track at the moment. I believe trying to set another lap time right now. And the ERS is going down, and that's a purple second sector. So currently on the charge right now is D'Angelo on that soft compound tire. I'm not too sure about starting on the soft. Of course, the fastest tire out on track, but will it be more beneficial to be on a harder compound at the start? We'll have to wait and see. But here comes D'Angelo across the line. What's the time going to be? It's going to be second fastest with a 125.413, and there were hundredths of a second separating Intent and D'Angelo. Flying Jippo moves down to third by about 0.2 separating those two. That's going to split the Racing Point cars of Chargers still in the pit lane with 3 minutes to go. Gonna have to get a move on soon if he wants to set his own lap time.
I think those drivers that jumped and abandoned their laps just a few minutes ago, they are now all coming out, and I think the reason they abandoned that is they figured out that if they're going to go for another lap, if they didn't get it all perfectly on the first one, they're not going to have enough time to go out on another brand new set. So it looks like Intent is out there right now. Bam Bam, Osseo, and Jones all coming out. Those are all people who abandoned their laps just previously a few minutes ago. So again, they're already playing those strategy games. It's going to be very interesting to see. I also wanted to quickly throw a shout out to all of the people watching the stream right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and some people cheering for some of our drivers. Teddy Bone says go Intent. Dylan just wants to wish good luck to the whole Golden class, and James Jeffrey is here to support Red Wing Racing, so that's going to be interesting to see. We're already getting some fans in the chat. That's good to hear, and thank you everybody for watching. Keep those comments coming.
2 minutes left to go, and Intent has come across the line in the Haas, ready to set a last final lap. The charge for pole position is on. He is on pole position, but for how much longer? D'Angelo is only a couple hundredths off of that time. Flying Jippo on an outlap right now with about 1:30 left to go, and he's actually quite far away from the start-finish line, so he's going to have to get a move on. And D'Angelo right there has retired from the session, confident with that P2, and Intent doesn't look to be fastest in the first sector at the moment, so he is fastest on track, hasn't beat his own sector time, it looks like.
Yeah, he was a little bit slower through that Sector 1, only 18 thousandths of a second on his own time at the moment, so it doesn't look like he's improving through the first sector, but right now, on the back straight, coming into turn 11, going really wide on the entry. In this race, we're allowing people to use the regular rules for corner cutting and for extending, but we're still going to be watching. And there we go, he does go purple in the second sector, but it looks like somebody else just beat him right after that. Oh, and he just went really wide outside onto turn 13. That is going to be possibly reviewed by one of the stewards after, because if this is going to be a faster time, that's unfortunately going to be invalid for them after, but he's already on pole with a valid time, so let's see what he does now. He does improve by just a tiny little bit, but yeah, it's not going to matter for him today. He was on pole anyways.
And Osseo is third fastest, putting down Flying Jippo. Did get a time on the board, and it's fastest in the first sector. We've seen a lot of purple sector ones that might be down the track evolution, and now coming through the final two sectors. This is really where the braking zones and how well you drive, that's really going to make the difference here. As I'm riding on board of the Red Bull driver, coming down the DRS straight, has a car not too far up the road, so maybe a little bit of slipstream. That is a Williams ahead of him, as he is now in the third sector just about. Let's see if it's going to be the fastest. It is. It is a fastest second sector, and now on to the third sector, onto the straight. Not a DRS straight, but we'll have to wait and see. Coming into the final turn with that half black, half white helmet with the red accents coming across the line. Flying Jippo and the Red Bulls got even more slipstream, and it is going to be pole position by 0.03 of a second and almost into the 125.2s, and that is pole position right now for the Red Bull man.
Wow, was that close? 24 thousandths of a second separating first and second place right now on the front row of the grid. Incredible lap there from Flying Jippo. Very clean, very quick, and getting a beautiful line through everywhere. Bam Bam is still out on the flying lap. I'm not sure if he's increasing or improving his time right now, but we're going to have to wait and see here.
And I don't believe Bam Bam is going to be improving that time going that slow down the straight, so I believe that is a aborted lap at this point. And Asios into the pits, as most drivers are into the pits, and in fact, everybody is in the pits and everybody is finished. So it is Flying Jippo who, at the Bahrain Grand Prix in the Golden class, has your first pole position in the Golden class, and the Red Bull team will be very happy with that. Aerofis Zen won't be super happy to be down in 15th, far away from his teammate, but he is going to be on that medium tire, which is a bit of an outlier, as you can tell, with the tire graphics. So I have to wait and see how that makes up with extra tire life over the speed of the... Ooh, and that was major contact between the AI as the Ferrari rammed the back of the Red Bull. But with 44 seconds left to go, quickly going over the lineup, it's Flying Jippo followed by Intent, D'Angelo in third, Asio in fourth, Segrist and Bam Bam 5th and 6th respectively for the Mercedes, Chargers 1000 and 7th, 8th for TCR Jones, and it's Golderator in 10th and 9th and 10th for JFD. Ben Swerven in 11th, followed by Red Wing Racing in 12th. 13th for M9H Racing. RC7 is in 14th, followed by Arrow in 15th. And Fuzz in 16th. Frost Hacker in 17th. McLaren in 18th. And Uaven is rounding off the grid in 19th position. And this grid, extremely close. The 127s, the final times, with the 125s being the fastest times. Not a huge split between everybody. Everybody's still very much in the race. As we all know, league racing can mean anybody can possibly win there, as that's your final grid order heading into the race.
Yeah, we had 7 people there in the 125s. That just shows you how quick this class is going to be. Last night, I don't think any of us got into the 25s and silver class, even in qualifying, so that was very, very nice. And yeah, it's Flying Jippo on that front row. As I was saying, he's in a great position to possibly win this class this season. He was the leading person who is still in this class who hasn't moved on to Platinum, so I think this might be his year. Let's see how this race goes for him. I'm getting really excited.
And the session is over, and it's time for the race. The Bahrain Grand Prix is about to begin in just a few moments' time, and Blinn, there's always that new season nervousness for everybody. Even if you are a regular in a league in general, there is always a little bit of feelings underneath as you get ready for the start of a new season. What does everybody have to do today to secure a good result for them in their first race in the season?
Well, I don't want to sound like Max Verstappen's race engineer, but you got to keep your head down. That's pretty much all it takes. You know, you got to come in here with a clean mind, just ready, get some practice, you know, in between races, and make sure that you have a good setup for this race. But overall, you just got to keep it clean. We saw last night that turn 1, there was a major incident because somebody missed their braking point. And just as a reminder, you know, you don't win the season in turn 1, but you can definitely lose the race right there and then. So keep it careful, keep it clean, and you know, work out a good strategy, keep your tires alive, and you should be in a good place.
If you're just joining us, my name is ISRLX. I'm in my co-commentator, Blinn Machine, and this is TCR Season 10. We're here at the Bahrain Grand Prix for round number 1 of the Golden class. And let's go for your starting lineup for you if you're just joining us. It's Flying Jippo on pole position, followed by Intent and D'Angelo in third, ACO in fourth, Segrist and Bam Bam, the two Mercedes, in 5th and 6th respectively. Chargers in 7th, followed by Jones in 8th, Golderator in 9th, JFD in 10th, Ben Swerven in 11th, Red Wing Racing in 12th, and M9H Racing, the other Williams car, is currently in 13th. RC7 in 14th, followed by Aero Fist in 15th, Fuzz in 16th, Frost Hacker in 17th, McLaren P1 in 18th, and Uaven is rounding off the grid in 19th in the Alfa Romeo. It is a 29-lap race around the Bahrain International Circuit, a track which can bring some absolutely amazing racing. Thank you to all 31 of you right now who are watching live in the Golden Class, an absolutely amazing number to have in the first race of the season. And let's get set for action. They're heading down that final DRS straight, warming up their tires, getting the jitters out as they get ready for the first race to see who's going to come out on top. And I am very, very excited to be commentating for you guys. A thank you to TCR for giving the opportunity to me to to commentate with you guys, and I'm very excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, really excited to have you on board again, and also just want to throw again a huge shout out to everybody watching. Keep those comments coming. A lot of people are mentioning those strict or regular quarter cutting rules in this race, but a reminder to everyone that the stewards will be reviewing certain laps if they think that you went a little bit too wide. So if you get a warning, you're probably going a little bit too wide even under regular rules. But other than that, I also just want to say, yeah, huge thank you to all the TCR officials, everybody who does the work every single week to make sure that we have this racing grid here every 3 days, every single week. And also huge thank you to Fanatec, our affiliate sponsor. If you guys are looking for some equipment for your rig, you can buy it using our code in the description of the video, and that will really help out the league as well.
Flying Jippo on pole position, intent alongside. And let's get set for action. The 5 red lights to come on in just a few moments for the Bahrain Grand Prix. 20,000 horsepower almost, lining up, getting ready for the start. Just waiting for everybody to line up, and here we go. Getting ready for those 5 red lights to come on. And it's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And yes, it is go, and it's Flying Jippo who gets a great start, and it's Intent in second position, already trying to go side by side onto the inside into turn number 1, and trying to take the lead of the Grand Prix. But it's going to be Flying Jippo. What an amazing dive around the outside by D'Angelo, putting himself into second position, and it's Intent already, though, trying to make a challenge back to get into second position, trying to go on the inside, and it's going to ultimately slot behind and actually take a very extensive line off track that might have to be looked at as we are in lap 1. And there's your predicted pit stop strategy, by the way. Soft, and then medium, or soft, and then hards. The medium and hards about the same lap time they expect from Pirelli. Presented to you by AWS, but it's Flying Jippo who's leading, D'Angelo in second, Intent in third, Bam Bam in fourth, Asio down to fifth, Segrist in sixth, Chargers in seventh, and TCR with a pretty bad start. Jones down in ninth position, and Gordorator rounding off your top 10.
And I was watching there a little bit further back to see if there would be any incidents. M9H Racing got a great start from 13th. He rose up all the way to 11th, but unfortunately missed his braking point a little bit and hit the back of, I think it was Aero Fizz, and then dropped all the way down to 19th place, now running at the back of the grid.
And you can see there's front end plate damage on that car, and that's going to hurt the turning in on this track, which is especially very apparent, and you can see how much time is being lost, and there's a little bit of racing going down the back as McLaren is going to try to dive around the outside of the Alfa Romeo through the final turn, and a little bit of wheel banging, but it's good racing nonetheless. DRS has already been enabled when I thought we were only on the first lap, but nonetheless there's a huge, and there is M9 Racing going into the pits, and Flying Jippo leading it, and no, there is no DRS as I imagined, as we are should be on lap number 2.
Yeah, I think we might be having that start glitch that I've heard about, and it's also looking like our standings are going all over the place right now. But yeah, this has been a very exciting start already. We have a yellow in Sector 1 and 2. It looks like a couple of people have touched and come off, and that's
Ben Swerven's out of the race, and it's a virtual safety car deployed. One of the Williams already out of the race, and I'm trying to ride on board and see it's at the end of Sector 1 just about. and nonetheless, Ben swerving out of the Grand Prix very early on. Virtual safety car has been deployed, so drivers trying to, well, at least trying to keep, even though the delta is not super great on this game, trying to keep the relative delta to the pace they were on. So no full safety car, not really an opportunity to pit, though you wouldn't really want to at this stage in the race, a little bit early on. But those soft tires will be wearing out very quickly, and most drivers will be going on to another set of softs very soon as we are back under greasing. Oh, and McLaren has been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, and you do have to be careful. When you speed up at the end of your safety car, watch your delta, because if you're in the red, they're going to give you that drive-through, and McLaren wasn't being too careful, and he's been red gumming out of the VSC.
Yeah, and I was also watching there with you, Evan the Giggle. That driver was having a little bit of a moment as the VSC came out. He missed his braking point and spun out, dropped a couple of positions, but he's now attacking down the inside on McLaren into turn 1, and there he goes up into 15th place. McLaren almost touched the back of him there, had to twitch out of the way there a little bit, but yeah, it looks like we've already got very exciting racing all over the grid, especially down the front. I'm looking at the gaps of the people between like Asio and Chargers and Zegries. There's quite a bit of a train going on there.
As we ride on board of Zegries in the Mercedes, behind the pink Mercedes, and ahead of them is Asio, rounding off the top 5 at the moment. Bam Bam a little bit further up, and then those top 3 starting to individualize themselves from the rest of the pack. And it's Intent and D'Angelo really in the bigger battle here, as D'Angelo starting to drop back a little bit from Flying Jippo. 1.1 seconds that gap, as they're about to become soon onto the real lap number 3 for them, and will be having DRS and trying to make, they already had some DRS, but unfortunately D'Angelo not able to get on any of that.
And we completely forgot to mention, but the tire strategies, all of our top 10, or currently running in the top 10, they're all on the soft tires. We have Aerophysant on the medium, Fuzz and RC7 on hard tires, M9H Racing switched onto the hards.
I got to interrupt you because we've had a position move, as Intent has moved up to second position, making a move, and we actually see further down the grid, that's TCR going side by side of the Renault and just getting ahead. TCR Jones gets ahead of the Renault driver, and now we have Goldorator trying to possibly make a move around the outside ahead of the head of the Renault, makes a switchback, a little bit of contact on the rear tire, so a little bit of issues for him, and he has hit the back of the Renault, and that's going to stop the momentum a little bit. But going further down now, getting very close. Is he going to try to make a move on the inside? He thought about it, but it's going to the side against it, and already some great battling going on.
Yeah, and further back, Frosthacker and RC7 are now getting close to each other. Goldorator and JFD44 as well, all battling everywhere right now in this early stage of the race. Only on lap 4 now of 29, I think. Now it's showing the correct graphic, possibly. But
right,
yeah,
but I'm also getting a graphic glitch now with Intent, because it's saying he's only 0.03 of a second behind Flying Jippo, so that doesn't help him too much.
Yeah, but coming back to those tires, so we only have a few people running on the mediums. That will be Aero, Uaven, Frosthacker, McLaren, and Red Wing Racing. But other than that, a lot of the people have elected to go for the 2-stop possibly. And there goes Frosthacker on RC7, passing him into the last corner on the track, and he's up into 12th place.
Also a move. Chargers ahead of the McLaren of Asio. Asio down to 6th, and now Zegries might be over the back, but Asio actually gets an amazing run out of those first few turns. DRS activated, but actually Chargers actually gaps him a little bit, as that's interesting, even with the DRS, not able to make a move. In fact, so Asio down to 6, Chargers into the top 5 himself, as Bam Bam having a little bit of a race of his own. Intent now is back behind D'Angelo, and is going to see if he can try to make a move rather soon, coming up to that third and final DRS zone, as there was a yellow flag down the order, and that looked to be for one of the Alfa Romeos, so I don't know if there was a little bit of a moment.
Yeah, that was Uaven having another Uaven moment.
And that's a spin from McLaren. So McLaren's had a spin down to 16th, and this race has just been going from bad to worse, as we had that drive-through early on, and now it's a spin, and just been pretty horrid so far, and those medium tires are already going to feel some wear and tear, and we're only on lap number 5.
And coming back to the front, Seagrease and Asio, those two are going to get really, really close to each other in the next DRS zone as they're coming into the last corner right now. This midfield battle, even though it's in the midfield, they're not too far away from the leaders. If you look at the track map, you'll see that they're about 4 seconds behind. So with pit strategies and stops, this could go any way, and there goes Intent for second place.
And D'Angelo still trying to keep the challenge. Ooh, just had it around the outside there, and you're starting to get a little reminiscent of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg a few years ago here in Bahrain, as the moves in turn 1 have been rather spectacular. But Intent right now sitting in second position, Flying Jippo in first. 2.3 seconds he's made that gap up, and he is on a charge right now, and you can tell he wants the victory today, as Golden Raiders look to get ahead of JFD. And yes, Golden Raider into 9th place, JFD down to 10th.
Oh, yeah, this is getting very, very heated up now in the midfield as well as in the front. I mean, the front three are keeping pretty close. Flying Jippo is sort of getting ahead of Intent and D'Angelo at this moment. But again, this could turn any possible way within the next few laps. And just still watching here with Asio and Seagrease and Jones, all of them very, very close to each other and all of them battling.
And just asking for some tire compounds. So there are your tire compounds. The top 10 on the soft compound tire. We have 2 drivers behind them on the mediums. There's a few hard runners. And so the hard runner is going to be going very long into the race now. And the medium runner is going to go a little bit longer than the softs. That's hopefully as we see our first pit stop. And that's going to be Intent, who makes a first pit stop on those first set of soft tires. And I presume we'll put on softs again. Yes, he will. And then we'll go on to mediums, I presume, for the end of the race.
So that tells us he's definitely going on that 2-stop strategy. He's going to have to make another stop and then probably going to go on the medium tires until the end to try and get as much pace of them out of as possible. But yeah, he pitted pretty early there. Rex last night in silver, he pitted exactly on lap 7 as well and got 22 laps on his hards. He possibly could have done the same thing here tonight as well, Intent, but he decided to go on a 2-stop. I'm excited to see, or I'm really interested to see how the front three are going to respond to that. Flying Jippo, D'Angelo, and Bam Bam, they are still battling for the win here tonight.
And Aerofist Zen is ahead of Frosthacker right now, trying to chase down JFD in 9th position, getting very close, about 25 hundredths of a second, as JFD currently sitting in 9th ahead of his teammate Frosthacker. So 9th and 10th right now for the Renault cars, as Jones sitting in 7th, Segrist in 6th, Asio rounding off that top 5, Chargers in 4th, Bam Bam, D'Angelo, and here comes Flying Jippo into the pit lane. So a response from the leader. D'Angelo does not follow and will take the lead of the Grand Prix. And it's the medium tires for Flying Jippo. So a little bit of a different strategy call from Flying Jippo. It's going to try to go onto the medium tires.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well for me last night, actually. That's exactly what I did. I just went soft, medium, soft again at the end. I almost got to keep my fastest lap at the end of the race, and my tires felt pretty good. So I think it's actually a pretty good strategy. The only thing that can slow him down is if he comes back out into a bunch of traffic, or if he gets tied up with somebody in an incident. So as long as he keeps it clean, I think he's going to be able to get a pretty good result here tonight.
Just as you said that, he almost went into the side of a Ferrari who had locked up the rear tires a little bit and is having some issues, and that is Fuzz sitting in 12th position right now. Does want to dispatch of this Ferrari rather quick, when you can just see getting very close to that Ferrari on the oh, and look at that dive bomb on the Ferrari of Fuzz, and quickly dispatching of that battle and moving on towards Intent in 11th. Going up the order. Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say JFD there just missed his braking point very, very massively coming out of turn 13, or coming out of turn 12. So, yeah, got to watch out. Maybe those tires are starting to heat up, those softs.
lap number 8 right now as we begin lap number 9 as D'Angelo comes across the line, and we see a few number of pit stops. That's Asio and Segrist now coming into the pits, and Aerofist. Look at Aerofist in 4th position in the race, and that's on the medium compound tires. It's going to go a little longer into the race, and can you believe the progress that Aerofist has made? Maybe he hasn't made that pit stop yet, to be fair, but it's still a very good start.
Yeah, he started in 15th place and now running in 4th because of that tire strategy, that harder compound helping him out and taking it a little bit further into the race. And so is Frosthacker, currently running in 6th, started 17th. Very, very nice for him. If he's able to hold up that position and play it smart with his tire strategy, I think those two might give the rest of the field a little bit of a harder time later.
As we look, it's first place right now for D'Angelo. Bam Bam splitting the 2 Racing Point cars, so 1st and 3rd at the moment, so Racing Point looking very good. And then the 2 Renaults actually looking good in 5th and 6th, so that's a very nice position for the Renault drivers, as Intent has gone ahead of RC7 and currently in 7th position right now, is Flying Jippo currently going to try to get ahead of the Ferrari, but is much further back than I think you'd like to be.
Chargers is doing a very good job. He's actually pulling out time on Aerofizzen on that older soft tire. Oh, and there he goes into the pits.
And you can see the graining on those soft tires was pretty extensive, so good job to come in now. And it's going to go on medium, so another medium tire choice for one driver. Bam Bam has come out of the pits and is on the hard tires. That is interesting as well, possibly. That tire, do you think, could possibly go till the end?
If you can manage it, right? It's all going to be down to how much time you are going to be having to make up.
Whoa, look at this. Out of the pit lane, Segrist was getting challenged a little bit from Chargers, and that was very, very close as those 3 drivers all close, very close together out of the pit lane.
And I was also going to mention D'Angelo still running on that soft tire, and he is way ahead of Aerofizzen, 7.5 seconds. He's doing a pretty good job managing them. So if you can manage your tires just like D'Angelo is doing, he might be able to make it to the end on a one-stop. I'm excited to see what D'Angelo is going to do because he's pulling out those tires, and that must mean he wants to go on a one-stop as well to those hard tires.
But the big thing I want to talk about, Intent making a lot of progress. Intent in 3rd, 5th for Jippo. There's not a huge gap for a pit stop. When D'Angelo makes that pit stop, definitely going to lose the lead of the race. Oh, that's a spin! A spin round by D'Angelo! And those soft tires finally gave up. And that's a massive spin just before entering the pit lane. Aerofist is going to take the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. And that was not what we expected before making that pit stop. Intent goes to 2nd, and that has really thrown a spanner in the works for D'Angelo, who's going to put on the medium compound tires, which maybe makes even less sense considering how long he went on those soft tires. But a spin out of the final turn for D'Angelo, and he's going to have a little bit more work to do.
Oh yeah, he should have definitely gone on those soft tires. Losing that much time with a spin, you have to make that time back up again. These mediums are not going to make it to the end, so make that time up early now. Oh my god, there's another spin there at the back. It's Uaven almost spinning out this car.
And look at Jones! Jones on the inside, wow, on the Renault, and it's gone ahead of him, and now JFD is going to try to make a challenge, and almost getting squeezed a little bit from Jones. Tries to make a move on the inside. Jones closes the door. And the battles are just getting very, very intense right now as we're moving on through the 2nd, 3rd of this race.
Further ahead a little bit there, Golda Raider is trying to catch up on Asio. He's going to be within DRS zone. He has no ERS left almost, only 25%. He's not using any of it on this back straight right now. But that one is getting heated up, and they're on completely different tires. Golda Raider is on the soft, Asio is on the hard. Actually, all of the front, the next 4 runners are all on that hard tire. Asio, Bam Bam, Faz, RC7, and Flying Jippo. So they need to keep up a quick pace so that those 1-stop or 2-stoppers don't catch up to them.
And here comes Flying Jippo, about to get past Frost Hacker. Oh, they hit. They hit on that start-finish line, and they got very, very close together. Finally makes the move. Frost Hacker not being so nice about giving up that position, and that definitely looked like there was some contact between those drivers.
There goes Golden Raider on Charger, or on Asio, sorry, down the inside of turn 1, and he's going to make that move, and that was a pretty nice move.
Ooh,
and now he's actually
look at the Haas
around the outside, very wide.
I want to talk about one of the Haas's that was Golden Raider, who I'm pretty sure cut the track a little bit there. Golden Raider currently in 8th and is ahead of Asio. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know if you saw the same thing I saw.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised that he didn't get, a penalty for illegal overtaking, because he did gain a position as he went very, very wide off track, and now he's gaining another position trying to go around Bam Bam. They're battling into turn 11 right now and onto the next straight now. It looks like Golden Raider's going to have the DRS.
So Golden Raider gets a position, hasn't gotten a penalty for that, but I'm sure it might be investigated after a race for getting a position off track. But Golden Raider will keep it at the moment, sitting in 8th, but might be under scrutiny later on. And almost lost the back end of the car and is on that soft compound tire. And I believe as well, yeah, as you can see, those soft tires are definitely worn out on his Haas. So is going to want to make a pit stop rather soon. And almost hits the back of Bam Bam. And goes jittered off track. And those soft tires are just giving up right now. But has DRS and barely has any ERS, but nonetheless is going to try to make a move on the inside of the Mercedes driver. Brakes very, very late and gets the move almost done. Bam Bam still there, then has to give way, and Golden Raider is into 7th position. Asio now right behind the Mercedes driver, who defends to the inside, then goes back to the outside into the braking zone. Asio in 9th.
Oh my goodness, this battle is just getting crazier and crazier, and there's other battles back a little bit as well. A couple of positions back. Z-Grease is catching up on Charger, and behind him D'Angelo is 4.3 seconds back, so he hasn't managed to close in that gap as quickly as Flying Jippo or Frosty or Bam Bam have so far.
And you have to give it possibly down to those medium tires. Just, I really do believe a poor choice after that spin, especially to have to make up the time. It just made more sense. I mean, if you're going to go as long as you did on those softs, you might as well put another set of new softs on, which will surely definitely get more laps than those old softs did.
And I mean, he didn't have too much time to make that decision. He made that spin right at the exit of the last corner, right coming down to the straight, and spun out to the outside of that curb. And Frosthiker just got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits, so that's really gonna hurt his overall score. And there goes Aero Fizzet into the pits as well.
Now, I'm interested to see where these guys come out. Again, remember where they were at the start of the race. Aero Fizzet's going to come out and looks to be just about P10. So, just about to have a battle, I think, side by side with one of the Racing Points, who makes a big dive, and that's D'Angelo on that medium tire. And it's Aero Fizz who goes down to 11th, still about 4 positions up from where he started. D'Angelo, though, does not want to be behind Aero Fizz and makes a big dive and gets into 10th position.
And slightly further back there, TCR Jones is stuck in 13th place on that one-stop strategy, not making up those positions, fighting with JFD 44 for the last 2 or 3 laps now. I've been watching their gap stay right around that 0.3 of a second. Even with DRS and ERS and everything else, it just can't get around them. They're on the same strategy, so they're locked into this battle.
And going on to that DRS straight behind the Renault. This DRS straight, not really an overtaking zone, more just keeping close to the opponent ahead of you zone, and then possibly making a move on that main DRS straight on the start-finish line. As we're just about halfway through this race, as Intent, who has taken the lead of the Grand Prix, is in first position, 15 laps through, and we're just getting into that halfway point. Flying Jippo in second, and the 2 Ferraris, 3rd and 4th on the grid right now, and I believe both of them on the hard compound tire, so they're going to go quite long into this race.
Chargers, Asio, and Bam Bam are in the battle. Oh, there we go. Chargers misses his braking point to turn 1. Had to go really wide off of the corner there, and he lost a bunch of time. And now Asio is getting very, very close to Bam Bam. This is the battle for 6th position right now as they're going into turn 4 right
Jones
now.
has had a spin as he just tried to overtake JFD and then gets passed by the Renault of Frost Hacker. And that was a little bit of a Sebastian Vettel-style spin. Just lost the back end, gave it too much power out of the corner. And that is going to be 2 positions lost now for Jones and a lot of time to make up on those Renaults.
He is not going to be happy with that, I'm sure of it, and very unfortunate for Jones there. You can just lose the car like that. Maybe the tires might be heating up a little bit. Setups are very, very tricky and very touchy on this F1 2020 game, and of course the handling model is completely different. It's going to take our drivers a little bit to get used to it, but as I said at the beginning of the stream, you don't win a championship on the first race, so as long as you keep it clean, as long as you get some good points here tonight, that's all that matters.
And let's look on board of Chargers getting very close to McLaren as the McLaren almost gets to the back of Bam Bam. That's Asio and Bam Bam. A little further ahead is Golderator in 5th, who has overtaken Fuzz, who has gone into the pit lane. And look at this. And it's Chargers on Asio. And now Chargers might make a move on the inside of Bam Bam. And is he going to make 2 positions in the span of a straight and a few corners? No, he's not. Asio, though, is going to try to make a move back on the racing point. DRS activated for both of them. Bam Bam is going to have a little bit more briefing room due to that little tiny battle. And look at this. Asio trying to make a move on the inside, but way too far back.
And out in the front, Intent has a 2.3 second lead on Flying Jippo, and that gap is actually growing as I watch it. It's growing by about a couple of tenths every single lap. So Intent is doing a very good job managing those soft tires, but he's going to have to make that stop very soon. Flying Jippo, on the other hand, can take those medium tires all the way to about like lap 22 or 23 and then pit onto a soft tire and be very, very quick. But it's all going to depend on how he manages this particular stint right now.
And it's Asio trying to follow up with Chargers and Bam Bam, but Chargers and Bam Bam seem to be on a little bit of a quicker pace right now. Asio a little further back than I think he'd like to be, and that those tenths of a seconds do matter. Intent into the pits again now. Again, remember, he put on those soft tires, so Flying Jippo was taking the lead with the medium tires. We'll go a little bit longer into the race, and RC7 is into the pits, and this has really helped Flying Jippo now, as that gap is going to be pretty big from Bam Bam, and it's going to be probably around 15 seconds is that gap.
And there goes Chargers down the inside of turn 1 on Bam Bam. Oh, not quite making it stick down that one.
So the gap, though, 15 seconds between first and second, and Flying Jippo on those medium tires with Bam Bam on the hard, so he's going to be able to make a little bit more pace up, possibly extend the gap, make the final pit stop, and then should be good for the win of the race. Of course, that is assuming nothing else happens, like a safety car or his own mistakes, possibly.
I was just going to say, you know, with all of this battling behind them, with this massive train of cars, that might slow him down a little bit. I know that pressure of having a car behind you for a prolonged period of time, it definitely affects you in a way. So let's see how Flying Jippo is going to manage this pressure right now. If he manages it well, he's going to be in a great position, but he's got people like Bam Bam and Asio really keeping close. Z-Grease is only a couple of tenths behind Asio as well. So this could still go in anyone's direction here tonight.
But this also does help Flying Jippo a little bit, because Bam Bam, if he continues to get into battles, that is going to slow him up more, and that's going to allow Flying Jippo to create a gap so he can make a safe pit stop and keep the lead of the race.
Yeah, but look at Intent. He's right at the end of that train. He's in 8th place, and he's only, what, about 2.5 seconds behind, behind Bam Bam, so he's going to be able to close in that gap pretty quickly now, and he does not have to make another stop.
And D'Angelo makes a move on Segrist into 5th position, Asio now has to deal with D'Angelo, and D'Angelo is a little bit further back, so a little bit more work to do, but the braking has been very good from him. As you can see how late he breaks into turn and already gains a huge amount of time on Asio, who is being held up, of course, a little bit by Chargers and Bam Bam, but we'll have to wait and see how this goes for Flying Jippo. If Bam Bam continues to battle, the gap will get bigger, and Flying Jippo's chances of a pit stop and a first and a lead after the pit stop get better and better. As look at that, Chargers tries to make a move on the inside.
Yeah.
Not a normal overtaking zone.
I was just going to say, Chargers there, he pretty much took all 4 wheels off of that corner, and that is one of the corners, that's turn 10, that we're watching very closely. So that was lap 18, and the stewards, I'm sure, are going to be looking back at this. Definitely one to note there.
And Asio getting very close. Chargers tried to make that move, may have compromised himself a little bit by trying to make such a weird move in turn 10, not a normal opportunity. And look at this, D'Angelo gets ahead of Asio, and now the Racing Point's 3rd and 4th. Now this comes into a teammate effect. What does Chargers do? D'Angelo behind, obviously gaining a lot. Might even be able to make the move before turn number 1. Might being able to make a move on Bam Bam on the inside. Gonna look on the inside. Still hanging it around the outside. And not able to make the move. Look at this. Asio and Chargers going side by side. And it's Asio who dispatches of Chargers, who goes down to 5th. Charger tried to make an outside dive, a little bit of contact on the rear diffuser of that McLaren, and down to 5th.
D'Angelo's into 2nd. D'Angelo has gotten into 2nd. He's passed Bam Bam just right before turn 4 there.
And this was really Flying Jippo's worst nightmare, because now D'Angelo, with those newer tires, is going to have a little bit more pace, and now that gap he was trying to create may be decreasing a little bit more than he would like. Now, the big thing, though, for Jippo, as you have to expect, will go onto the soft tires at the end of the race, and that's going to give him blistering pace towards the end. And is that going to be the difference maker as he tries to take the lead back of the race?
Yeah, and the comments are still rolling in. There's still a bunch of people watching the stream. Thank you guys so much. There's a request if you can put on the tires that are currently fitted to the cars. Some people want to see that, but I was also going to mention, look at the gaps between 3rd and all the way down to 8th. Those are all guys within a couple of tenths of each other. This is the massive train that we were sort of expecting for the midfield, and we're definitely having it. There goes in 10th, up into 5th place. He's going down the inside of Chargers into turn 1. You might even make a move on Asio. Almost thinks about it there, but backs out of it. And then they're going up into the hill into turn 4, and he's going to go around the outside now, and he's into 4th position. So Intent is making up those positions super quickly, and he's going to start making a charge on Bam Bam in just a second here as well, as they're now just a couple of tenths behind each other again.
Great action in the midfield there. Oh, Intent maybe had a possibility to go on the inside, but thought better of it, as Intent getting very close to the back of that Mercedes. Is there a possibility to make a move in turn 10? Hooks on the outside. That's a very unorthodox way, even more unorthodox than an inside dive. And now this is a possibility actually to make a move here on this final DRS straight. It's going to make a move on the inside, side by side through this uphill section. I love when we get side by side battles up here, as Intent continues to try to hang it around the outside, but ultimately Bam Bam with the better line is going to keep 3rd position, and Bam Bam hanging on to dear life right now. His Intent is on a massive charge, and ooh, there was a little bit of an excursion on the side of the track for Chargers, who drops down to 7th now, and Chargers has been having a very bad stint on these medium tires and has made a few mistakes and is going down the order rather quickly, as Flying Jippo has pitted onto the softs as I expected.
Absolutely. This is his last stop, and now he's going to come out. It all depends where he's going to come out. I think he's going to come out in a little bit of clean air right in front of JFD or right behind JFD, so he might be in a pretty good position to catch up. We don't know how this battle is going to turn out either. These guys are super close to each other. We've seen a little bit of touching. There might be an incident. I wouldn't count that out.
But Flying Jippo on those soft tires has to make progress up quickly, to say the least, if he wants to get into the lead of the race. He's got to dispatch of these drivers quickly. He definitely has the grip to do it, but that grip will fall off extremely quickly with those soft tires. And already, though, is on the back of Siegrist. And might make a move on the inside right here. And look at the dive, and now trying to make a dive on the racing point. And they spun round now as he tried to make a move on Chargers. And that was a little bit too greedy there. And Flying Jippo, again, had the same thought as me. You got to get past people quickly. But it's moves like that which are not going to help you at all. And now there's problems with those soft tires which are going to be worn a little bit more than they normally would at the start of a stint.
And this is all falling into the hands of Intent, who is now only 0.4 of a second behind D'Angelo. He does not have to stop again. He could possibly take these mediums until the end. I think he definitely will take them till the end. And he's in a great position. He's in the DRS zone on the straight. He's going around the inside into turn 1. Let's see if he's going to make it. He's already around him. There you go. Intent into first place. He's now the leader of this race. He's going to have a little bit of clean air and a little bit of DRS from a lap car, so this is all falling into his hands now.
Flying Jippo back within a second of Siegrist, now around the same place where he was before, as JFD has made a move on his teammate Frosthacker, puts himself into ninth.
D'Angelo's at a moment, he just spun out, he just touched the car, he's missing a front end plate now.
And he's now going to lose a position to Aerofist Zen. Remember, Aerofist Zen all the way down in 15th at the start, up to 4th. Is there side-by-side action now as Flying Jippo gets ahead of Siegrist and now has to contend with Chargers. And there's a little bit of a bottleneck now with that spin from D'Angelo, who's now down in 5th position. A disaster for the end of the race for that Racing Point driver. Now Flying Jippo, look at this. Well, that is not definitely respecting track limits. That was a big move around the outside. All 4 wheels are quickly off. Now trying to dispatch of now, oh my goodness, getting ahead of both Racing Point to make contact. And D'Angelo has moved down to 7th now. And it's been a disastrous end to his Grand Prix as we're on lap 22. Still a lot of laps left to go, but Flying Jippo now up to 5th and is on a charge right now for the lead of the race.
Intent is 3.4 seconds ahead of Bam Bam. Bam Bam has jumped into 2nd place thanks to all of this battling, thanks to D'Angelo spinning out. Asio is now in a good position to possibly take
and
second.
A move on the inside by Flying Jippo, and Aerofist sending into 4th position. And now he will try to make a move on Asio soon.
I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to catch up to Intent though, so this might be just a maximum second for Flying Jippo here today.
And what a battle in the midfield. Look at the train, and this isn't your normal DRS train. This is a train full of battles as Flying Jippo is taking some very unorthodox lines, trying to dispatch of these drivers. Asio now covers the inside lane. A move around the outside in turn 10. Can he make that stick? Yes, he can. Gets the better traction and into 3rd place. Back onto the podium is Flying Jippo. Now has to get close to Bam Bam in the Mercedes, which he is very, very close to. Bam Bam on those old hard tires is so very slow now on those hards. Where will Flying Jippo make the move? Possibly on this straight now as he does get the better traction. Now is going to move into the side-by-side battle that we've seen so often in this race, and Flying Jippo into the final turn. There we go. 2nd place. Now it's the battle for first. Can he catch up? 4.4 seconds, that gap.
And Asio just dropped down to 4th place, unfortunately. Bam Bam down to 2nd, so they're still going to be battling for those podium positions. It's all heating up here in the last 5 races of this first round of TCR Golden Class, and it's just...
Look at this, D'Angelo and Siegrist side by side. Siegrist almost squeezing D'Angelo off track. They're still side by side. What racing here on the final few laps. Siegrist trying to make a dive around the outside of D'Angelo, and is just about to get the move as D'Angelo still had that front tire near the rear tire of him, but down to 8th.
And D'Angelo is doing all of this with a little bit of damage on his front wing. He's missing the left end plate of that Racing Point. Unfortunate for him having that half spin and then hitting a car as he was rejoining the track. But wow, what a Grand Prix this has been so far. It's not over yet. We've got a few more laps. Flying Jippo has closed in the gap to Intent by about a second now, so he's gaining about half a second a lap. If he can keep those soft tires alive until the end of the race, and there we go, he just set a purple second sector as well. He is on a charge here. He's definitely going for that win, and he might have a chance.
You can see Intent in the distance. He is getting so very, very close. Every turn, tenths and tenths of seconds are being deducted from that gap from first and second. Intent is in trouble here. Lap 25 of 29, a fastest lap with a 128.0 for Flying Jippo.
Aero Fizzen is going down for a move on Asio. Asio is going down for a move on Bam Bam into turn 1. This is going to be very interesting. Asio makes the move. I think he's going to... No, he's not going to keep the position. Bam Bam
there's
defending.
contact.
They make a little bit of touching. Asio had to go wide there after a little bit of contact, but they're still side by side down into turn 4. Is Asio going to be the late breaker here? Let's see what happens. He is going to go down the inside again. They're not going to make contact this time, but Bam Bam, what beautiful defending.
Bam Bam has had an amazing race, really, really fair defending, especially on those old hard tires. This has been an absolutely stunning race. Chargers behind Aero Fist Zen in 6th position, still trying to keep up, and D'Angelo all the way down in 8th. And there was contact. Well, nope, I think that was a little bit of a lag moment there. But look at Flying Jippo, 1.7 seconds that gap now, as Intent is struggling on those medium tires as they start to reach the end of their lifestyle. And Jippo, with only 3 lap old softs, continues to gain and more time. Flying Jippo now can clearly see that Haas of Intent in his sights. I don't think he'll have DRS on this straight, but possibly on the next one. As here we go, Flying Jippo going to be very, very soon in the lead of the race, as I would think he was going to. As look at this, still side-by-side battle as Aero Fist Zen has gone ahead of Asio back into 4th position. Asio now will try to possibly make a move on the straight. He's going to have DRS, but so does Zen, so they both got it in that detection zone. So they will be kind of canceling each other out, as Bam Bam still somehow has kept 3rd position in this Grand Prix. And there's been a move further down as Fuzz has gone ahead of Frost Hacker, who has rounded off the final point scoring position. Look at that. RC7 and JFD go side by side, and JFD does get back ahead of the Ferrari, who had a little bit of a look, but now a move possibly on the inside by RC7, and he is going to make a move on the inside possibly with those medium tires, going to try to hang it back around the outside, but ultimately JFD keeping 11th position.
Flying Jippo now only 6/10 of a second now behind Intent in the DRS zone on the back straight. Not an overtaking move, but he's closing in that gap so quick, and I would bet he's going to get around him on the start-finish straight. But it's all going to be a matter of tire life. Are those soft tires going to keep that sort of crazy pace for another 4 laps that we need to do here? Oh, there we go, almost a move there. It was Intent trying to break the DRS and trying to catch slipstream on the lapped car as it gets out of the way, and there we go, into the start-finish straight they go, into the DRS zone. He's using his DRS, but he's only got 8.65% DRS left. Flying Jippo, is he going to be close enough on this one?
Is he going to try to make a move around the outside? You think so, and he tries it, and it's a very late dive. Intent tries to hold it. An amazing move in the turn 1, but the rear end snaps back from Flying Jippo, and Intent retakes the lead of the race. And there was almost an amazing move, but then he got on the power too early, and Flying Jippo goes back into 2nd position, and Intent back to 1st.
He's been pushing, Flying Jippo has been pushing those soft tires for the last few laps as he was trying to catch up to Intent, so I think he might have burned them out. He just got a little bit of a lockup coming into turn 8 there, so he's having a little bit of a hard time now. He's keeping that gap within a second. He's in the DRS zone.
There's more contact of D'Angelo. Frost Hacker has clipped the front wing of D'Angelo, and D'Angelo has even more damage as he's moved down to 10th now, as they're side by side with Fuzz. The Ferrari moves up to 9th position. D'Angelo now in that final point scoring position. This has been just a disastrous race for him when that front wing damage happened, and now there's more damage from contact with, it looked to be Frost Hacker, who clipped the front wing of D'Angelo.
Flying Jippo now is going to have another chance on that start-finish straight. He's much closer this time around, within a couple of tenths there, but locking up into the last corner. Intent trying to break the slipstream. He's going to have the DRS again. Again, no ERS, 0%, absolute zero. He's got nothing left. He's pushing with everything, and now he's going to lose power because of that ERS going below 10%. Oh, and he's losing the back out of the exit of turn 1. He's definitely been pushing those tires way too hard. I can actually see his tire temperatures, and they're around the 97, 99 mark. So he's definitely pushing a little bit too hard. Their Intent is keeping up that lead for now. Only a couple of laps to go here.
And Aerofist Zen, I would like to mention here, is in third position, has overtaken Bam Bam in that Mercedes, who has had an amazing masterclass race from him on those hard tires. But now Aerofist Zen, a well-deserved P3 right now, and will probably keep that P3. I don't expect him to get ahead of Jippo unless there's a moment for him. But Aerofist Zen has had an amazing race, and hats off to him, P15 to P3 in this race with an amazing strategy.
Yeah, and a little bit more information about him as well. He's actually a silver driver in Season 9, so he has made his way up into the golden class. Great job from him. And he was...
Jippo almost lost it again. Rode the curb a little bit too much and almost spun the car around. Jippo has to be careful here. Doesn't want to push the car too hard. And about 5-10 separating those two drivers, but he is making a lot of mistakes, and that could be the end of his race if he's not too careful.
And we are on the last lap, so not many chances to go now as they're running down into turn 1. He's not going to be close enough, I think.
Big dive! Ooh, and I think he thought against that because he knew he was going to go into the side pod of Intent if he wasn't too careful. But Flying Jippo really thought about a late dive there. That was not going to work. Now Bam Bam is battling with Asio, and Asio is trying to get in the 4th position. They make contact, and Asio, though, with better traction, is going to take 4th position in this race as Bam Bam moves down to 5th, and it's 5th and 6th right now for Segrist and Bam Bam in the Mercedes.
Yeah, I was saying there, I think this is it for Flying Jippo. He did not get a very good run there on the start-finish straight into turn 1, and now he's only got this back straight to go, and this is not really a great overtaking place. He might be able to do it here, but he's about half a second behind. I don't think he's going to have the chance anymore.
Unless he makes another daring dive on the inside like he tried in turn 1. He thought against it, and almost spins the car around and has to save it. And now you really just have to think it's time to save those soft tires. Don't push any more than you have to, because he almost spun that car around, putting the power down too much in that Red Bull car. And Aerofist Zen almost got a 2nd place in that race.
You can't lose it now. Even if you finish 2nd, yeah, you've lost the win, but you're going to get those 18 points to your name, and that is a massive gain, especially in a very competitive league like this. And there goes Intent right across the line, and he wins the first round here in Bahrain.
Flying Jippo will finish in 2nd, and Aerofist Zen is going to finish in 3rd. What an amazing race. I want to mention, by the way, very little penalties. In fact, I don't think there were any corner-cutting penalties that I saw in the race, so very well behaved for everybody. But there was a 5-second unserved penalty from Frost Hacker, and he will move down all the way in 11th. JFD will score points in this race for Renault in 10th position. But D'Angelo all the way down in 12th. There's been a crash on the start-finish line. That was Chargers who has crashed on the line. And he has finished the race, though, and will finish in 7th.
What a race that was. I honestly can't believe it. It was absolutely incredible to watch. And yeah, just battling all over the place. That last couple of laps with Flying Jippo in the 10, that was absolutely incredible.
29 out of 29 laps complete, and it's the Haas of Intent who has taken the win at the Bahrain Grand Prix. What an amazing, amazing race. Aerofist Zen, rightfully driver of the day on the game, and I would think would be driver of the day. And that was an absolutely incredible race. Intent, you're in the party right now. You're celebrating on the podium, but you can give us your thoughts on that race. What an intense battle at the end there. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I was really hoping that those soft tires of his would wear out by then. You know, he had to push through the pack, and, you know, that adds a lot of wear. So he was a lot faster than me on those softs. I mean, he was faster than me the whole race. It's just my strategy wound up working out a lot better. I went and undercut that first stint, and that really helped me out a lot. And
Intent, congratulations on that performance, and you know, being a rookie into this league and taking round 1 with that sort of performance, absolutely incredible. But were you feeling a little bit under pressure? Was it affecting your drive at all when Flying Jippo was getting closer and closer?
Oh yeah, dude, I was super nervous, 100%. Definitely had me really nervous there. I thought he was gonna get me, but those softs, I guess, just they gave out at the perfect time. You know.
And
well, congratulations again.
I want to talk of Aerofist Zen. What an amazing race. You started in 15th and you're up into the podium positions. Talk us through that just a very crazy race for you and how you ended up on the podium.
Hey, sorry, we actually can't hear you on stream. Can you make sure your voice sharing is on?
Can we hear Flying Jippo? We can. Well, you're a little louder, that's for sure. I can't. I'm not having any.
Yeah, go ahead. I think we can hear you now.
Okay, cool. And it was a masterclass drive from you, a very clear driver of the day performance. Now, I want to talk with Flying Jippo. You finished in second in this race. Talk us through that one. Very hair-raising laps, those final few laps. Almost spun the car around a few times. Was there a balance of pushing and balancing those tires as you started to reach the end of their lifespan? Talk us through the race.
Great job, man. And unfortunately, we can't hear you on stream. I was just checking. Yeah, I don't know why that is going on. I could hear you just a minute ago. But yeah, that was an incredible performance. Yeah, there we go. Now it looks like he's turning it on, so we might be able to hear from Jippo.
That should work.
Okay, so walk us through the race one more time.
Yeah, to just say the same thing.
Got it. So, it was a race from my end, on pole position. I was really happy with that lap, and I just was unfortunate to throw it away. The first stop, Intent got the jump on me with those soft tires, and then made some contact with Mercedes at Bam Bam, and that gave me a spin, and that really ruined my chance to win the race. I gave it my all, and towards the end, my softs just went off. You know, I gave it my best, and that's, you know, what matters, and I'm just really disappointed in myself for throwing that away. But G10, Aerofist Zen, man, my teammate, what a race. I'm really proud of that. You're looking to be a really great golden driver, man, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, Red Bull Racing today getting second and third.
Yes,
two places on the podium.
Good start to the season.
Great start to the season. Great points for both of you. But Flying Jippo, I just wanted to ask you quickly, you know, you're pretty much, I kept on saying this throughout the stream, you're pretty much in the best position this year to win Golden Class. You were P4 in Season 9 in the overall standings. 1, 2, and 3 are gone into Platinum. So is this your year? Are we going to see you with that championship at the end of it?
Oh, I really hope so. I think this, yeah, like you said, this is my best chance to win it. I just want to, make sure I am consistent with my racing, and I had some really bad technical issues last season with my PlayStation, so I really hope that doesn't happen this season. If that doesn't happen, then yeah, sure, I can go for the championship.
Well, it was an absolutely action-packed Bahrain Grand Prix, and congratulations to our top 3 drivers, Intent, Flying Jippo, and Aero Fist. You all drove a fantastic race, and thank you everybody else for watching. This has been the Bahrain Grand Prix. This has been Trinity Competitive Racing here in Season 10 in the Golden Class. Make sure to join us for the Platinum Class tomorrow on Thursday, and thank you so much for everybody for joining us. It has been an absolutely action-packed Grand Prix. All 30 of you who joined us at our peak live, thank for everybody for commentating. And Blend Machine, it was a pleasure to commentate with you once again. And if you want to sign off for us, that would be great, actually.
Absolutely. So yeah, huge thanks to you, ISRLX, for joining us in the main commentator seat for tonight. You did an absolutely amazing job, and I just really hope that we're gonna hear you and see you in this league more and more in this season 10. But as you said, just signing off for everybody. Thank you everyone who joined in on the stream and sent in your comments. Keep that coming. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the rest of the action for this season. We will be back here tomorrow for Platinum Class. I will be in the main commentator seat with you guys tomorrow. Fabregas will be joining me in the co-commentator seat, so very excited for that. Huge thank you to the officials, the stewards, everybody else who makes this league work every single week. And also a huge thank you to our affiliate sponsor, Fanatec. Check out the description link and you can get some great equipment there. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.